On my knees next to her bed, I hold her limp hand. My face falls into the mattress, and for the first time since I was told my best friend died, I cry. Because I think I lost my sister, too. I can't ever let her get back to that place, and the way she looks right now is hitting too fucking close. We shouldn't have let it go on this long, Lele, I say. We hoped starting over somewhere new would heal you, but it's clear you're not healing at all. We should have been here for you more. I didn't want you to be, she whispers. I know, I nod. And we should have realized it's not always about what you want. It's about what you need. I scoot across the floor until I'm sitting in front of her bed, and she has no choice but to look at me. And you need to come home. I take her hand in mine. You're not alone this time. I'll be with you. I'm here to help. What if I can't? What if I get in the cab or get to the airport and I can't do it? Then we'll come back here and start again, as many times as you need. But I'm not going home without you. She runs her fingers across the flowers tattooed on my hand. Plus, it'd be really unfair to leave Leo all alone out there with Mom and Dad. They're far too suffocating to be one-child kind of parents. A soft laugh filters out her mouth, and I breathe easier at the sound of it. What about my stuff? I smile, feeling hope rise in my chest. We'll pack tonight. I've got some guys coming by tomorrow morning who will get it shipped home for you. Tomorrow morning? How were you so sure I'd say yes that quickly? Hope, Lele. I tap her nose, and she swats my hand away, hiding a smile. You'll find it again soon, too. She gives me an eye roll that says she's unconvinced, but I'm not. We all let ourselves wither away the last few years, but as I've rediscovered what it means to live for something, I refuse to allow my sister to have any other outcome. Leo found healing in Waves and in Darby. I found it in our businesses, in Dahlia and Lou. Elena needs to find her way back to words. She needs to write again and rediscover the one thing she was put on this earth to be, an author. She may refuse to search for hope on her own, but Elena has always been stubborn. Sometimes she just needs someone to push her out of the boxes she places herself in, and I've forgotten that I'm uniquely qualified to do just that. She needs her home, her family. She needs to fix whatever shit happened between herself and August. Once she finds that hope, I know she'll be okay.
40. Wildflower. Notes on my sister's car. I stand frozen at the kitchen window, watching some man I don't recognize lift my windshield wiper and slide a folded-up piece of paper beneath it. I don't know why I don't chase after him. That's what my younger self would have done. I don't know why I don't yell for my sister, who's sitting 10 feet away from me at the dining room table. I don't feel fear. I don't feel alarmed or even surprised, though I should. I was so sure it was Tana and the parents from school fucking with me. But I don't know who this person is. I've never seen him at a function. I've never seen him anywhere. I should feel anxiety crawling up my throat. I've been getting stalked by someone who I now know is a stranger for months. Yet I can't seem to find it in myself to care. I'm too numb. There's too much of it. Too much to be afraid of. Too much to think about. I don't have the energy to be afraid of this anymore. To even stop it. Hey, honeysuckle, have you seen my... Leo's words halt as I hear him enter the kitchen. Dahlia, are you... He stops short again as he steps up beside me. Who is that? I don't know. My tone is completely void of emotion. What is he doing? His voice rises, concern edging his words. Leaving another note on my windshield. Quicker than I can comprehend, Leo's darting through the dining room and throwing the front door open. Leave the lights off, he says as my sister stands from the table, moving to follow him. Stay inside. Darby freezes, head whipping to look at me with fear on her face. What is going on? My eyes are dragged back to the window, where I watch Leo run down the front porch steps. The stranger sees him coming and turns to get away, but he has nothing on my brother-in-law. It's completely dark outside. I was only able to catch the guy because I'd been grabbing a glass of water from the kitchen and left the lights off, giving me an illuminated view of the driveway. My sister stands beside me, gasping as we watch Leo snatch the man by the back of his collar and throw him against the side of my car. He's pinned between Leo and the door as Leo says something, baring his teeth in the man's face. That snaps something in me, and suddenly, I'm running through the kitchen and out the front door, too. "Stay inside, Darby," I call. "Oh, fuck off," she mutters, following me out. I rush down the porch steps and close in on Leo, his voice ringing through the night. "I'm not going to ask you again. Why the fuck were you leaving notes on my sister's car?" The guy is young. He can't be older than early 20s. Dark hair slicked back beneath a baseball cap. His eyes shut tightly as he winces while my brother-in-law yells in his face. I was told to." "By who?" Leo growls. You're choking me," he grits out. I realize Leo has his fingers twisted in the boy's collar, straining his neck. "I don't give a fuck. Tell me, are you the piece of shit who's been leaving these notes behind the whole time?" The kid clenches his teeth, nodding as he shrinks beneath Leo's towering presence. Leo grips him tighter. "I'm going to ask one more time. Why?" I do odd jobs. I have an online posting. I'll pick up any kind of work." He stutters between heaving breaths. "Sometimes it's landscaping or under-the-table construction. Sometimes it's deliverables." He gulps. "A few months ago, a man responded to my ad and asked me to meet up in Pacific Shores. He told me he would wire me money if I messed with someone a little bit, someone who wronged him." I hear my sister's sharp inhale of breath behind me, the sound matching the sensation of my stomach dropping to the ground beneath me. The guy gulps. "He'd wire me money with a memo. I was to translate that memo into a piece of paper and put it on this car." He nods behind him. "He also made me fuck with the spark plug once, so it wouldn't start." I think back to the car trouble I had all those months ago. Everett's confusion as to why the spark plug on a car as new as mine was so worn down. I never thought much of it. "What's his name?" Leo seethes. The kid flinches. Jackson. He never gave me a last name." "What?" My sister gasps. Leo's head whips to us, eyes wide and wild. "I'm going to fucking kill him, Darby. I'm going to fucking kill that—" "It's not Jackson," I say. "There's no way." My sister's ex-fiancé is no winner, that's for sure. He's definitely manipulative and conniving enough to do something like this, but I know he didn't. Not to me. I know in his head he thinks he was wronged by Leo and Darby when she skipped town on the day of their wedding. But he wouldn't fuck with me. He'd go after my sister directly. And in all reality, I don't think he cared enough about her to go to such lengths for revenge. "It's Dad," I whisper. Looking at the stranger, I raise my chin. "What did this man look like? And when did you meet up with him?" He chews his lip. "Last year, late summer. August, maybe? September. Sometime around then." Leo's practically shaking with rage, but I see his grip loosen just slightly. Taking a deep breath, the kid continues. "He was older. Mid-50s, I guess. Blonde-ish. Brown eyes. Mean as fuck looking." I let out a sarcastic snort. "That's our daddy." My sister lets out a long, devastated, defeated sigh. Leo looks gutted at the sound of it. He lets go of his hold on the kid as it's made clear he's nothing but a pawn, another victim of our father's manipulation and mind games. Stepping back to give him space, Leo reaches into his pocket and pulls out his wallet. Thrusting a wad of cash at the kid, he says, "Look, you don't accept any more of those jobs from Jackson. If he reaches out to you again, you come find me, and I'll pay you double whatever he does to tell me every detail." He nods furiously. "I will, Looking at me, he says, "I'm so sorry." I dip my head in acknowledgement, and the kid turns to walk away. As he reaches the end of the driveway, a thought dawns on me. "The first note," I call out. "I found it after a soccer game. How did you know where I was?" "I came by earlier, but noticed you walking out the door as I pulled up across the street. So I just waited until you left and then followed your car." He slips his hands into his pockets and drops his head. "Swear I wasn't stalking you guys all the time. Only when he told me to. I needed the money. I don't know how else to respond, so I turn on my heel and head back inside the house, thankful my daughter sleeps deeply enough that this incident likely didn't wake her. Dahlia, my sister calls behind me, and I know what's coming next. I run up the staircase and sneak into my room to obtain the item I've been hiding in my bedside table for months now, before making my way back downstairs, where I know Darby and Leo will be waiting for me. I reluctantly step into the kitchen to find the two of them leaning against the counter. Leo looks angry, but I know it's not aimed at me. His eyes soften with concern when they land on me. My sister's eyes are red with rage and the tears I know she won't allow herself to shed. I silently slide the thumb drive in my hand across the counter until it glides to a stop in front of them. Both of them raise their heads, confusion on their faces. That's why, I whisper. That is the reason for all of it. I think it's time you stop harboring whatever bullshit you've been keeping to yourself and tell us what the hell is going on, Leo says. I nod, because my line has been drawn, and soliciting a stranger and telling them what kind of car I drive and where I live, where my daughter sleeps, is crossing it. My father thinks the only thing I've ever wanted is his acceptance, but he's dead wrong. I want my child safe, happy. That need trumps all else, and he has called it into question too many times. That thumb drive contains files that compromise Dad and his entire company. Fraud, embezzlement, forged documents. Enough to put him away for quite some time. I found the information when I was still working for Andrew's development, and when I left town, I used it for blackmail so he wouldn't come after us. I swallow, looking directly at my sister. So he wouldn't come after you. Dahlia. I cut her off as I spill everything I've been hiding the last few months. The conversations with my father and his threats. The reason he told Jason I left. The reasons why I kept it from them, and why I was trying to protect them. As I speak, my sister's tears begin spilling down her cheeks. Leo wraps her in his arms, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Her trembling body instantly stills at his touch, settling whatever war is raging in her mind. Suddenly, I miss Everett. He's on a flight back from New York right now, his sister with him. He has enough going on with bringing her home, and I can't imagine what emotions that's going to stir up in all of them. But it doesn't stop me from wishing he was here to hold me too. We have to do something, she says. More to Leo than to me. He can't keep doing this to us. I don't know why he won't let us go and leave us alone. Do you think he'd stop if you gave him those files back? Leo asks quietly. No. I shake my head with confidence. He told me that if I gave it back, he'd leave me alone, and he'd get Jason off my tail too. He point-blank told me that he'd never give up on Darby, though. I chew on my inner cheek. He sees Darby as his property, a cherished item you stole. He saw me as something he never asked for but couldn't get rid of. I honestly don't know which one of us has it worse. I hate him. My sister chokes through her tears. I don't have it in me to cry over that man anymore, but I say, me too. I hate seeing her broken, especially when she has been fighting so hard to find her happiness. When she's come so far, I can't stand seeing her spiral. After rounding the counter, I pull her from Leo's arms. He lets her go as she turns to face me, face falling into my shoulder. It's okay, Darby, I whisper. We'll figure it out. But we can't have you crying like this a week before your wedding. I force a smile on my face. We've got too much to get done, and crying all the time is going to make you puffy. She lets out a broken laugh, nodding against my chest. Let's get you down the aisle first, and we'll deal with the rest of this bullshit later. I meet Leo's eyes over the top of her head. Looking as devastated as I feel, he sends me a silent nod.
41. Wicked. Got pickles? I rush through the front door, attempting to remain as quiet as I can, but too on edge to care much. The house is dark and silent, as it should be in the middle of the night, but the text message I received from my brother on the flight back to California had me rushing to his house the moment we touched down. I find my brother sitting on the couch in his living room with his face in his hands. He lifts his head when he hears me enter, a mix of exhaustion, devastation, and anger coating his features. "Where's Dahlia?" I ask. He silently stands and leads me down the hallway behind the kitchen, where I know his bedroom is located. Quietly, he creaks open the door, and we both peek our heads inside. Darby and Dahlia are in bed together, sleeping deeply, turned on their sides and facing each other. All of my instincts go on alert at the sight of them. Something happened. "Lou?" I ask, panic rising in my chest. "She's okay," Leo reassures me. "She's asleep in her own room." Knowing I should let her sleep, my instincts betray my efforts as I step to the side of the bed she's sleeping on, brushing my lips across her temple. I need to feel the warmth of her skin. It has been too long, and I'm too worried to go without reassurance. She stirs, turning to face me as her eyes slowly flutter open. She blinks rapidly, taking in her surroundings before realizing I'm standing in front of her. "Everett?" Her voice is groggy and sleep-mused, so I hush her, kissing her head again. "I'm here, baby. I needed to make sure you were all right." I run my fingers through her hair. "You go back to sleep, Wildflower. I'll be here when you wake up, okay?" She raises a hand, covering my fingers with her own. "You promise?" I bend forward, pressing my lips to hers breathily, inhaling her coconut scent and warmth. "Yeah, baby, I promise." She turns back over, inching closer to her sleeping sister, as I back out of the room and shut the door behind me, following my brother into the kitchen. "What the fuck happened?" I ask. "You hungry?" he asks, opening the fridge. "Actually, I am, but there's no way I'm going to keep anything down until I understand what happened to Dahlia. No." He nods, shutting the fridge as I fall into a bar stool across from him. "We caught the fucker leaving notes on her car." "What?" I immediately stand back up. "Calm down," Leo says, motioning for me to sit. "I took care of it. It won't happen again." I nervously scratch my beard, taking a seat as Leo does the same across the island from me. "Who was it?" "Random kid. He was paid by her father." "And that's who has been behind it this entire time?" My brother nods solemnly. "Fuck." I rub my eyes, suddenly feeling bone-tired. The last 48 hours have been a whirlwind of stress and anxiety. This was the last thing I expected to come home to, but when I saw the message from my brother that something happened to Dahlia, adrenaline rushed through me. I couldn't breathe or think or halt until I reached her. "Is this guy a complete basket case or what?" I ask. "She has been blackmailing him." Leo sighs. "Who?" "Dahlia," he confirms. "She has been blackmailing him with files that incriminate his company. This was his retaliation." He runs a hand down his face. "I don't understand his motivations. I'm not even sure he understands them. I guess he thought he could scare her into running back to Kansas." "Why the fuck would Dahlia blackmail him?" I seethe. Unease funnels in my stomach at the thought of the secrets she's been keeping all this time. Why would she knowingly and willingly play with fire after she spent her entire fucking life being burned? I rub my chest, feeling the sensation there, the worry and dread and trepidation. I swear to God, she's the most complicated, stubborn, reckless woman I've ever met. I feel so angry at her for putting herself at risk, and at the same time, I'm in utter awe, because I know whatever her reasoning is, she was doing it to protect her sister and her daughter. Dahlia is complicated, stubborn, and reckless, but fuck, she's also selfless. She's protective and nurturing. She's the most incredible woman I've ever known. "She drives me crazy," I find myself murmuring. Leo lets out a laugh. "Yeah, they'll do that to you. I don't understand the logic behind it," he continues. "But at the time, I guess she felt it was the only thing that was going to keep him from coming after Darby and forcing her to go back to Kansas." "Darby's a grown woman," I shake my head. "He can't force her to do anything." Leo nods, but adds, "Dahlia clearly learned to blackmail from somewhere. I mean, the guy is manipulative and controlling. He forced Darby back home once before, and I know it's something Dahlia feels a lot of guilt about. I think she was afraid of him succeeding again." My brother looks down at the counter, frowning. "She told us She owed us this, that it was her turn to protect Darby. She thinks it's her fault Darby went home all those years ago. Her fault Darby lost. Leo doesn't finish his sentence. Dahlia was not responsible for that, I snap. That was an accident, and the aftermath of it was no one's fault but his. I agree with you, my brother shoots back. Darby and I have never blamed Dahlia for a goddamn thing. I nod, feeling sorry for assuming otherwise. My face falls into my hands. This is fucked. Yeah, Leo agrees. Darby broke down when she found out, and we agreed she doesn't need this kind of stress so close to the wedding. I told that kid to fuck off with his notes and come to me if he receives any more messages from their dad. In the meantime, we're going to get through the next few weeks and then figure out what to do. The only thing there is to do is hand those files over to authorities and put that piece of shit in prison. I know, my brother nods, but that's not up to us. We need to let them figure that out on their own. That decision comes with a cost, too. I let out a long sigh. Fuck. Rounding the corner, Leo pats my back as he takes off toward the back door. Come on, I've got something for you out here. I follow him out of the house and into their detached garage. He flips on the light before unlocking a small box on the top shelf where he stores his surf gear. He turns to face me, smiling, with a joint between his lips and a lighter in his free hand. Let's go take a walk. Are we bad boyfriends? I ask, blowing out a puff of smoke. Leo snatches the joint from my hand. We left a note. Taking a hit, he adds, plus, we checked in and all was well. We locked the door behind us. They'll be all right. I nod. We reach the end of Oceanside Avenue, taking a right down Pacific Street. They needed their sister tonight, and we needed our brother. God, I remember why I don't smoke with him anymore. Leo gets annoyingly affectionate when he's high. How's Elena? He asks, sounding suddenly solemn. With all the chaos surrounding Dahlia and Darby, we hadn't had the chance to even address that our sister is finally home after 3 years. I didn't have the capacity to talk about it, I don't think, but the weed has my head feeling a little quieter and my body feeling a little lighter. She's okay, I think. Leo nods. She at your house? Yeah, Mom and Dad waited up for us, so they were there with her when I left. I look at him, watching his throat work as he inhales another hit. I can tell he's thinking deeply. You're going to go see her, right? He turns to me, eyes narrowed. Of course. Good. I turn left down an alley that separates Pacific and Strand, heading toward the house I know but never visit. Where are we going? Leo asks, catching up to me. August's. I hear him halt behind me. At 1:30 in the morning? You know he'll be up. Why? He calls from behind me. I turn around. We've got to tell him she's back. He needs the heads up. My brother sighs, taking one last hit before snuffing it out and placing it into his pocket. We finish the rest of the walk in silence, arriving at the 2-story craftsman-style home. I walk up the front porch steps with my brother on my heels before knocking lightly on the olive green door. A minute goes by with no answer, but I can see a dim light on from the window next to the door that I know to be the living room. Leo walks right up to the window, cupping his hands around his mouth and shouting, Augie! Let's open up, brother! Shut the fuck up, I hiss. He's got neighbors and shit. My brother shoots me a dopey, stoned smile. Finally, the door creaks open, and 2 green eyes assess us from the other side behind a pair of black-rimmed glasses. What the hell is going on? He whispers aggressively. We came to say hi, Leo adds. I want a tattoo, I add, deciding suddenly. Are you guys drunk? No, we're high, Leo chuckles. August rolls his eyes, opening the door wider to allow us in. We follow him into the sunroom off the side of the house his brother bought but never had the chance to move into before he died. Zach always planned on having August be his roommate, and after his death, he couldn't sell it, not when it was a home Zach loved so much and had been so excited to spend his life in. August has been here on his own ever since. He utilizes the sunroom as an art studio where a table sits in the corner with sketchbooks scrawled across it. In the other corner, he has a makeshift tattoo setup, which rarely gets used now that he has his own shop. Why am I tattooing you in the middle of the night on a Thursday? He asks, sorting through his equipment as I fall back into the leather chair. Leo sprawls out next to us on the couch at the center of the room. He looks at me and raises a brow as if to say, this is all you. Let me walk you through the design first and we can talk while you're working. August gives me a bemused expression, but he only shrugs before going back to the box he's sorting through. He pulls out his sketchbook, and I walk him through my idea. It's something I've had in the back of my mind for a while, but something about this night and all the chaos in my life has me wanting to pull the trigger on the idea. Watching him effortlessly draw up a design far beyond anything I was capable of imagining in my head. After I approve the artwork, August sanitizes the spot on my chest where I want the tattoo, and I take a deep breath as the gun buzzes to life, dull burn and razor-sharp sting blasting through me. I've gotten enough tattoos that I don't react much anymore, but that first prick is always a jolt. As I settle into the discomfort, August is focused on my skin, but he clears his throat expectantly. "Well, I guess I'll just rip off the Band-Aid," I grit out. "Elena's home, and we thought you should know." August freezes, body tensing for just a fraction of a second. I swear I see a shiver roll down his spine, but whatever reaction he's having inside, he hides it quickly. I watch him swallow before he casually asks, "How long is she visiting?" She's not visiting. She's home. There is finality in my tone, because like the conversation I had with my sister, I'm making it clear it's not temporary. She tried her hand in New York, and it did nothing for her. She's home for good, at least until she's healed enough to become a functioning human being again. I booked her flight for her, and I made damn sure there was no return ticket. "Oh," he says quietly. "Well, good. I'm glad." "Are you?" I ask. He stops, eyes rising to meet mine. "Of course I am." "You two don't speak." "Her choice, not mine." The tone in his voice seems to end the conversation there, and I glance at my brother who watches us from his spot across the room. He shrugs at me, and I do the same back. It's clear whatever happened between the two of them is locked up tight, because when I brought the situation up to Elena, she shut it down the same way. I guess we'll have to leave it up to them to resolve it on their own. "You got like potato chips or something? I need to eat." Leo pats his stomach, getting up from the couch. "I don't have much," August responds. "But I know you'll make yourself at home anyway, so feel free to scrounge around for whatever you can find." "You got pickles?" I ask, realizing how hungry I am. Fuck if a crisp dill pickle doesn't sound good right now. "Yeah?" "Leo," I shout after he's gone into the kitchen. "Pickles!" "Pickles! Fuck yeah!" The next hour passes quickly as we make small talk. We discuss the coffee shop more, both August and Leo elated that Dahlia agreed to be part of it with us. August asks about the wedding, and Leo practically vibrates with excitement over it, like he has been waiting all his life to marry Darby. Finally, after my entire body feels practically numb, August shuts off his equipment and rolls his chair back. "I've got the line work done, but you're going to have to come back next week for shading." "Got it," I salute him. "At the shop, though, I can't do it here." "Why?" I ask as I hop off the bench and admire his work. "I've got some realtors coming by throughout the week, so I'm going to be having to hide all this away and keep the place clean." I whip around just as Leo dives off the couch. "You're selling?" we ask at the same time. "I'm just exploring my options," August says in a light-hearted tone, but the smile he gives us is strained. "The mortgage on this house was never intended to be paid with one income," he shrugs. I've got to consider downsizing before I get to the point where I'm choosing between my business and my home." "I can help," Leo starts. August holds up a hand, shaking his head. "Don't even start with that." My brother sighs defeatedly, sinking back into the couch. "How long do you have, managing both?" "I'm okay," August says reassuringly. "I'll make it through the summer just fine. You know how things die down in the winter. We all take a hit." Leo and I nod in understanding, though none of us are at risk of choosing between our businesses or the roof over our heads. "If it gets that bad, please consider letting us help you," Leo pleads. "What about a roommate?" I ask. August looks at me, tilting his head as if he hadn't considered that before. His lips twitch up at the corner, almost imperceptibly. "Yeah, that could work." 42. Wicked. I'm their fucking endgame. I swing my key ring around my finger as I stroll into the parking lot of Lou's elementary school. A last-minute floral emergency caused a change in plans, and while Darby and Dahlia are at Honeysuckle finalizing arrangements for the wedding tomorrow, I offered to pick Lou up from school this afternoon so they could focus. Lou doesn't know about the change and would be looking for her mom's Honda rather than my Jeep, so I figured I'd just wait for her in the lobby. I flip my sunglasses on top of my head as I walk inside and plop down in one of the chairs. Tana sits at the reception desk on the other side of the glass, chatting with a tall, lanky man who has his back turned to me.
"I'm so sorry you've been going through that," she says softly. "That's awful."
The guy shrugs. All that matters is that I'm here now.
"I'm sure she'll be so happy to see you."
Tana smiles. I zone them out, pulling out my phone to check on Elena. I'm constantly afraid she's going to fucking bolt, that I'll come home one day and she'll just be gone. She's been keeping to the house a lot, but she tells me she's back to writing, so I'm hopeful. If I'm not there to check on her, my parents step in, Leo too. She hasn't met Dahlia or seen Darby yet, but I'm trying to give her time. So I was actually hoping I could sneak her out a few minutes early. Wanted to take her down the boardwalk and get some ice cream, ride the Ferris wheel.
Well, Lucille's class has about 15 minutes left until their final bell, but let me call down to her teacher and see if I can reach her.
Great. Can you have her meet me? Her name rings through my skull, causing the hair on the back of my neck to stand up. I'm sorry, I interrupt, standing from my chair. Did you just say Lucille? There certainly could be another Lucille in this school, but the name isn't common enough for me to let that slide without asking a question. I step up to Tana, watching her eyes go wide with recognition.
"Oh, Everett,"
she clears her throat awkwardly.
"I didn't see you come in."
Hope that's not my kid you're talking about, I respond, not bothering to sound pleasant. The man next to me turns sideways, giving me a bewildered expression. No, we were talking about my kid, if you'll excuse us. Tana's eyes dart between the two of us rapidly, and I'm about to back off, assuming I'm mistaken and there is another student here with the same name, but the trepidation in Tana's expression has me on edge.
"Everett, does Dahlia know you're here?"
Yes. She glances at the other man, seeming unsure of what to do. Who are you? I ask him. How do you know Dahlia? He asks me. I study his face. Long, narrow nose that's different from Dahlia's but matches her daughter's, sandy blonde hair with hints of red, and his green eyes. Lou's green eyes. Knowing I should drag this fucker out of the building by his goddamn throat before Lou gets up here, I instead find myself turning to face the reception desk head on, all my newfound rage directed at one person. Were you about to let her fucking leave with him? I snarl at Tana. She gulps, cheeks going flush.
He's her dad.
She glances at Jason again.
He said Dahlia knew about it.
Did Dahlia call you and give permission? Do you see this man's name on the approved sign-out list given to you by Lou's legal fucking guardian? She tilts her head, sighing.
That's not entirely fair, Everett. You may not know the whole story. Dahlia wasn't allowed—
I'm going to stop you right there, Tana, because you do not know the full story. I seethe. Are you unaware that over half of all Amber Alerts reported are because the child was abducted by one of their parents? Have you had any sort of training on how dangerous it is to let some random person claiming to be related to a child into the school and tell them where that child is, what time they get out of class, and that you will allow them to leave the premises with the child? Are you telling me that you work here every day and none of those thoughts has ever crossed your mind? She shakes her head rapidly.
I know that. He knew her name. He knew Dahlia. He wasn't some random person. He's her dad.
He has no rights, I'm shouting now, body vibrating with anger. Do you know why he asked you to have her meet him outside? Because Lou does not know him. He has not seen her in years. He legally has no claim to her. Tana's mouth drops open, a look of horror flashing across her face. Are you so wrapped up in your petty bullshit? So desperate to think the absolute worst of this woman, you would put her child in that kind of danger? I'm trembling, my vision going hazy with panic and fury. I need to know what the fuck this man is doing here, what he wants with my kid. I need to make sure he stays the fuck away from Dahlia, too.
Everett,
Glancing around the lobby, I realize for the first time that he's nowhere to be found. Fuck! I run toward the front entrance of the school, shouting behind me, Do not let Lou out of your fucking sight until I come back, do you understand? Tana nods.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not the person you need to apologize to, I mutter as I fly out the door. I take a look around, catching him walking briskly with his hood up about 20 yards ahead of me. He makes a beeline toward the deserted back parking lot, but I'm chasing after him. Jason, I call, catching up. We weren't done with that conversation. He halts, slowly turning to face me with his hands raised. Look, man, I wasn't trying to cause any trouble, all right? I was just bullshit, I growl, and before I can think twice, my fist is connecting with his jaw. He grabs his face, stumbling backward, and I take the opportunity to snatch him by his collar, spinning him around and slamming him against a car. Tell me what the fuck you're doing here. Fuck you, he spits. I cock my fist to hit him again, and he laughs. Dude, you're doing the most for a woman who is not worth the effort. I'm telling you, she was ruined after she had that kid. He smiles, shrugging. I know the pussy is good, but the woman attracts chaos. She ain't worth it. My vision blurs, flooding red. Suddenly, I've got Jason pressed into the pavement, my knee in his chest. I lean in with a dangerous calm, an effort when my instincts are screaming at me to strike and strike until there is nothing left of him at all. I fucking dare you to say something else about her. Letting my face hover just over his, I say, I don't ever want you coming near my girls again. I don't want their names leaving your mouth. I don't want their faces crossing your mind. I want you to fade from their memory entirely until you're nothing but a name they can't remember. You do not deserve to know them. Do you understand? He sneers. You can call her your girl, call her your kid, but she's still my daughter. Father is a title earned, not given, and you're both unworthy of it. He gives me a look of confusion as I tighten my hold on the collar of his sweatshirt. Give me your phone. What? He grits. I slam his head against the ground. Give me your fucking phone. He wrestles his hand into the front pocket of his jeans, pulling out a phone. Find Dana Andrews in your contact list. I really don't think you want to shut the fuck up. Limbs trembling, face red with lack of oxygen where I hold my hand to his throat, kneeling on his chest, Jason slowly begins the call. It rings twice before a deep male voice rasps, Jason, you piece of shit. With utter calm, Dahlia's father responds, Everett, I assume. Yeah, and you're the sadistic psychopath who plotted to have your own grandchild kidnapped, I take it. Is that what she led you to believe? He chuckles. I'm surprised to see you so concerned, especially considering the last time I spoke with her. She called you her, what was it, flavor of the week? I scoff, knowing Dahlia doesn't speak that way. He's so full of shit. Jason shakes his head, barking a sarcastic laugh. Man, you're nothing but a fuck buddy. I am not a fuck buddy. I press my knee harder into his chest, sending him gasping for air. I'm their fucking endgame. Shifting my weight so my elbow falls into his throat, choking him even harder, I add, so listen here, you waste of oxygen. You come around my future wife or my kid again, I won't stop until they have to peel your flesh from the pavement. I pull off him, standing up and taking a step back. That applies to you too. I spit into Jason's phone. Jason here will be crawling back to Kansas with a black eye and a broken rib to show you just how serious I am. He scrambles away from me, crawling back against the tire of a car, finally having the good sense to look afraid of me as he catches his breath. I hear the calculated click on a tongue on the other end of the line. This is the woman you want to make death threats for? Are you sure about that, boy? She's got a lot of daddy issues. Wouldn't worry about that, sir, I smile, watching Jason's eyes blow wide. I fucked all those daddy issues right out of her pretty head. Knowing it'll twist the knife further, I add, the only man she'll be calling daddy from now on is me. I hang up the call, tossing the phone to the ground at Jason's feet. How do you know he was involved? Jason asks, looking up at me. You're not smart enough, nor do you have the motive to show up here on your own and try to abduct a child. I warned her not to fuck with her dad. How much did he pay you? I ask. He's quiet for a moment, staring at his feet. Look, yeah, at first it was about the money. He paid me off a little here and there to call and fuck with Dahlia. He thought if I gave some notion that I was interested in being part of the kid's life, she'd come back to Kansas. I don't know, he shrugs. But I drew the line at this. I didn't want to be involved. I didn't want to come out here. I tried to warn her and she didn't listen. He shakes his head. The man has connections. He has shit on me too. I didn't have a fucking choice. He looks at me, and I see a flash of sincerity in his eyes. I never would have hurt Lucille. All I was going to do was take her to her grandparents. That's what he asked of me. Drive her back out there so the girls would follow. I squat down so we're face to face. Here's my friendly piece of advice. Don't ever come back here. And don't ever bother my family again, or I actually will kill you. If I were you, I'd take your sweet time heading back to Kansas and do what you can to cut all connections to Dane Andrews, because I'm going to end him too. I don't wait for his reaction. I don't wait for a response. I stand straight, spinning on my heel and turning back toward the school to pick up my kid.
43. Wildflower. Family that we choose.
Baby, listen to me. I need you both to leave the flower shop right now and go home. Call my brother and have him meet us there.
Everett, I sigh. They delivered the wrong flowers. We're having to swap out everything at Honeysuckle with the fucked up flowers we received from the vendor into makeshift arrangements for a wedding taking place in less than 48 hours. We'll probably be stuck here until tomorrow morning. My fingers are numb from plucking stems all goddamn day.
Dahlia,
Everett says with deadly calm.
it's an emergency. I just dropped Blue at my parents' house and I'm heading to your place right now. You need to get Darby out of the flower shop and meet me there.
My breath gets lodged in my throat, a sickening feeling coiling in my stomach and snapping tight. Is Lou okay?
Yes, she's with my mom. She's fine.
It loosens just slightly, but the urgency in Everett's tone has all my atoms on edge. What's going on?
Meet me back at the house, okay?
He hangs up before I have a chance to ask another question. So I place the roses in my hand back into the bucket of water I found them in and turn to my sister. Everett said there is an emergency and we need to head home now. Darby turns to me, nostrils flaring with undiluted frustration. I don't think Everett wants to talk to me about emergencies right now. If he has something he needs from us, I greatly invite him to come organize some goddamn flowers here. I know, Darbs. Bridezilla has arrived. He seemed really concerned, though. He said we need to get out of here and go home and that we need to get Leo, too. She groans, throwing her bouquet into a bucket. Fine, but he is the one coming back here later and finishing these arrangements. I need a bath. All right, I say, placing my hand at her back and ushering her out the door. We'll let him know. We grab Leo from Heathens and pile into Darby's Mustang, since I'd gone with her to work this morning, taking the week from work to help her with wedding prep. We're back at their house within 10 minutes, but Everett's Jeep is already parked outside. We all find ourselves huddled around the kitchen island, Everett pacing back and forth across the floor, wringing out his hands. His entire body appears to be trembling with tension.
What's going on?
Leo asks. Everett turns to face the three of us, jaw tight and eyes wild. He says nothing as he rounds the counter and closes the distance between him and me, grasping my face between his hands and kissing me roughly. It's a desperate, urgent, needful kind of kiss, the kind that makes you feel like the other person has been drowning and you are their only source of oxygen.
I'm so sorry, Dahlia.
He whispers against my lips. Tell me what happened. He closes his eyes, shuddering like he's in pain.
They tried to take her.
I step back, gripping his forearms and feeling my nails dig into his flesh as my veins flood with fear. Who? Panic rises in my chest, causing my vision to go blurry and my head to spin. Everett, where is my daughter?
She's with my parents.
He opens his eyes, keeping my face between his hands.
She's safe, I promise. They're taking care of her. We needed to talk.
His gaze darts to our siblings.
All of us. And I wanted to keep her out of it.
Who tried to take her, Everett? My voice cracks, my entire body shaking with the sound.
Jason,
he says quietly.
Your dad.
All that apprehension floods from my veins, my body going taut with the knowledge. My knees buckle, and suddenly he's the only thing holding me up. It feels like the room is crumbling around me, and all I want to do is go down with it. Oh my God! I hear someone gasp behind me. I think it's my sister. As the reality of the situation dawns on me, and my instincts finally kick in, I find myself spinning in Everett's arms and reaching for my car keys. Says my daughter is safe, but I don't trust a goddamn person on this planet, not when the man who made me and the man who made her are the most dangerous I've ever come across. I need to see her. Everett lets me go immediately, and I run toward the front door.
If you need to check on her, we can, Wildflower. But are you sure you want her to see you like this? I left her with my parents so we'd have time to sort through this and figure things out.
I pause, turning to face him. She doesn't know what happened? He shakes his head.
No, I caught Jason before she got out of school. She has no idea he was there to begin with.
That has me halting, body falling against the dining room table. She doesn't know. He made sure she didn't have to witness the nightmare I put her in, the nightmare I've subjected all of us to. She has no idea someone tried to kidnap her today. My voice comes out a broken whisper.
No, baby.
I feel a warm, rough hand fall to the center of my back, dipping beneath the hem of my shirt to find my bare skin.
Can you guys give us a minute?
He asks from behind me. I hear the shuffling of feet and the slam of a door.
She thinks I picked her up from school because you were busy with the wedding. She thinks she's at my parents' house because Mom needs to hem her dress, which is true, and they're doing that as we speak. The only thing Lou knows is that she's loved and cared for. Those you left behind are of no thought to her.
He whispers against my ear, planting a kiss on my shoulder. Whatever dam was holding me together suddenly ruptures, my tears free-falling. Everett holds me together, wrapping his strong arms around my waist and securing me against him, the rhythm of his heart keeping me grounded. What did you say to him? My tone is a wretched whimper.
I told him to stay away from my future wife and my kid.
He runs his palm down the backside of my head, cradling me into his chest.
That if he ever came near either of you again, I'd fucking kill him.
I spin around, tilting my face up so I can look at him, desperately searching for the dishonesty I'm accustomed to hearing, for the doubt, the joke. Amber eyes stare back at me with sincerity and fervor and love, so much love that I melt beneath them. Your kid?
Yes.
He smiles, cupping my jaw and brushing his thumb across my cheek.
My kid. My woman. For as long as you both will have me.
I'm not sure where inside our bodies our souls are stored, but whatever location that may be seems to open now, giving itself over to him. My tears halt, and his steady hands wipe away the remnants beneath my eyes. Forever. I drop my head into his neck, savoring his warmth, his presence. I feel his lips on the top of my head as he murmurs,
Okay, forever it is then.
Emilio slides a vodka soda across the bar in front of me. You remembered? I chuckle.
You are pretty unforgettable, Dahlia.
He winks, turning to my sister.
What can I get you, Darby?
Something strong, she sighs, but also sweet. He smiles.
I can whip you up something good. Don't worry.
Emilio makes Darby's drink and pours 2 beers from the tap before sliding those to Everett and Leo, who sit on either side of us. The bar floods with bright light before dimming again, telling me that the front doors had opened and closed. I place a hand on my sister's leg, garnering her attention. Are you sure you want to do this? Her eyes are sad, but she nods with confidence. Yes, he went too far. He did. I agree.
What's up, fuckers?
A vaguely familiar, slim-framed, tall Latino man slides into the seat beside Everett, and I assume he must be Ryan, Everett's sheriff friend. He nods at Emilio, who has a drink ready, setting it down in front of him.
You called? Are you off the clock right now?
Leo asks. He takes a slow sip of what appears to be whiskey. Swallowing, he sets the glass back down on the counter.
Officially so. Great. We need off-the-record advice.
Everett adds. Ryan frowns, looking annoyed but not surprised.
Did you break the law? Not sure. Fuckers,
he mutters. The six of us lean in close while Emilio keeps other patrons at bay, and Everett and I break down our entire situation of the last months. The information I found on the company network when I worked for my father. The fact that I've been blackmailing him with it and that he used my daughter's father to try to kidnap her in an attempt to get back at me.
Tana could definitely be fired,
Ryan says after Everett explains to him how she nearly allowed Jason to leave school grounds with my child, all too easily believing whatever sob story he fed her about me restricting his relationship with Lou. As much as I want to throttle her, I almost feel sorry for her. She must be bored and lonely to put so much thought into the reputations of people around her, to be so hung up on the lives of others. I hope she figures her shit out. I hope she finds herself some real friends. Friends like we have. Because after Everett explained everything to Darby and Leo, it was clear that her wedding flowers were going to take a back seat tonight. So, Leo called Macy and asked her to help. She and Dom, plus their best friends Carter and Penelope, dropped everything they were doing and made the 2-hour trek south. The 4 of them are at Honeysuckle right now getting things ready for Saturday. I don't want to take responsibility for something like that, I say to Ryan. I won't demand it, but I'll report it to the principal and let the school district investigate on their own. If it happened to me, there's a good chance she has done it before. He nods.
As for the rest of it, you're definitely at risk, Dahlia. Not that I don't understand it, because I definitely do, but blackmail in and of itself is a felony, and holding on to documents like that without reporting them incriminates you as well.
I know, I sigh, dropping my hands into my face. Everett rubs my back reassuringly while my sister downs the rest of her drink, and Leo waves Emilio over to get her another. Are you some kind of mandatory reporter? I ask. Are you going to have to turn me in now that I've told you all of this? Ryan takes another sip of his whiskey.
Crime happened in another state. Loophole.
Is that really a loophole? Darby asks. Ryan smirks. Everett winks at me, his way of letting me know I'm safe.
Do you have any other loopholes as to how we can get that piece of shit sent to prison without incriminating Dahlia in the process?
Ryan nods, and we all huddle closer.
Does your dad have it in writing from you anywhere that you obtained this information months ago?
No. I shake my head. We had one conversation in person in Kansas before I moved. I know my father does enough shady business that he doesn't keep cameras or recording devices at home. Plus, I caught him off guard, so he wouldn't have thought to set anything up beforehand.
Good.
But, I continue, we did have a phone conversation back in December where I admitted to having the files then. I swallow. I wouldn't put it past him to have recorded it.
Were you in California when this conversation was held?
I nod.
2-party consent state. You're safe.
I hear Everett let out a breath at that.
For argument's sake, is it possible that a thumb drive containing files from your father's business could have been mixed up with your personal belongings when you left your job at his company?
For argument's sake, it's not impossible, I respond, polishing off my drink.
All right. And let's say those personal belongings got stashed away somewhere during your move from Kansas to California. You have your stuff in storage, right?
Right. I owned a home there, so I brought most of everything I have out here with me. But since I've been living with them, I nod at my sister and Leo, I had to get a storage unit for my stuff until I find a place of my own. Everett's hand finds my thigh, squeezing lightly.
So, you're saying it's possible that if you took a look through your storage unit, say you need to find something in there, you could potentially come across a thumb drive you don't recognize, take it home, and stumble upon some incriminating documents?
I suppose that could happen, yes. Ryan smiles.
Then, I'd say, if you were to spontaneously come across something like that, it'd be your responsibility to turn it into the authorities right away. And if the incriminated individual claims she had possession of the documents for an extended period of time and used them for blackmail?
Everett asks. His word against hers, and in my experience, criminals are not often believed. I imagine he and his legal team would be more focused on keeping him from receiving a life sentence. An elephant of anxiety is lifted off my chest, and I take a deep breath, realizing for the first time that there may be a way out of this, a light at the end of the tunnel that my father has kept me locked inside my entire life. Looking back, I know I should have taken those files and put all this to bed months ago. I could have saved us all a lot of heartbreak and fear, but at the time, I didn't have it in me. My dad was right. I'd secretly been pining for his approval all my life, and the thought of being on top, of finally having something over him, made me feel powerful where I had always felt weak. The longer I held on, the harder it was to let go, to tell my sister. Knowingly turning our father in, potentially sending him to prison, is a heavy weight in and of itself. But it's nothing in comparison to the fear that retched through me when I was told he tried to come for my child. If nothing else, she must be protected, and Darby and I agree on that. We need him out of our lives for her. But maybe for the two of us as well. We deserve to move on, to heal, with the family we chose for ourselves. The family who chose us when our own never did. You know, Leo snaps his fingers, gathering our attention. I think I threw some decorations for the wedding in Dal's storage unit a few months ago. We're probably going to need to go get them. Darby nods, face flushed with alcohol. Yeah, I think you're right. Ryan winks at me. Well, I'll be at the wedding if you have anything you might need to run past me. They continue making small talk, hatching their plan. I notice Everett silently slide off his bar stool and grab my hand, pulling me with him as he leads me toward the pool table at the back of the bar. You two better stay where I can see you, Emilio shouts, sending a cluster of laughter our way. We're playing pool, asshole, Everett calls back, grabbing 2 cues and a rack off the wall. Thought you could use some space to breathe, and you never did get the chance to show me your skills. I hum, reaching up to kiss him on the cheek. Well, I'm not faking them this time, so consider yourself warned. He grabs my hips, spinning me around and pinning me against his body and the pool table. All the day's chaos, all the heartbreak weighing me down, dissipates at his touch. He's my life raft in a raging sea. We're not faking anything anymore, Wildflower. Cupping the back of his neck, I pull his head down so his lips brush against mine. We're real, I whisper against his mouth, feeling him smile. Now watch me really kick your ass. 44. Wildflower. I want to dance with them anywhere. I told you, if you don't stop tearing up, I'm going to start slapping you, Macy says to my sister as she dabs at the corner of Darby's eyes with a tissue and demands she continue blinking. I'm sorry, Darby laughs. You look so beautiful, Dal. That dress is incredible on you. Thank you. I smooth out the soft satin of my bridesmaid dress, fighting back my own tears. Hopefully you don't end up wearing it this time. She snorts, rolling her eyes at me. Macy moves to the side, allowing me to zip up the back of Darby's gown and pin her veil into her hair. She looks stunning, and I can't stop thinking about what a contrast today is in comparison to her last wedding day. She was beautiful then, but she was dead inside. Today, she's full of life, more than I've ever seen her, radiant and glowing and content. She's excited, practically vibrating with anticipation to run down that aisle to the love of her life, rather than run away from it. I also can't help but think back on how lonely she was at her last wedding a year ago. That bridal suite was full of people. Jackson's mother and sister, Darby's friends from work, though I'd use the term friend lightly. Our own mother, who wasn't particularly nurturing or supportive. Today, there are only 6 of us. Darby, Lou, and me, plus Monica, Macy, and Penelope. I know Darby was a little bummed that Elena refused to join us before the wedding. I haven't met her yet, but based on what I've heard, I think it's considered a win that she'll be showing up for the ceremony at all. The makeup artist Macy hired just left, and we're putting the finishing touches on Darby's look as we drink champagne and laugh in her bedroom. Light music filters from the surround speakers across the entire house. There is more love and light in this space than there ever was in that traditional white church. People we've known less than a year are happier to be here than people we knew our whole lives back home. Macy sways across the room in her tight, strapless red dress that makes her body look insane and sits down on the couch next to her best friend. Penelope is quieter, much more reserved. She doesn't demand attention the same way Macy does, but I've noticed that when she does speak up, she's witty and hilarious. Smart as hell, too. Her auburn hair falls past her shoulders in thick waves, complementing the emerald color of the dress she's wearing. It's simple and silk, kind of like my dress. She doesn't need embellishments because her features pull all the attention. She's striking, with her bright hair and deep green eyes, full lips, and thick eyelashes. "Dahlia," Monica calls, pulling me from my thoughts. "Have you put any more thought into a name for the bakery yet?" "Yeah, I have," I smile. "But I'm going to share it with Everett first before I tell anyone else. I think Everett will especially love the idea I've come up with." Monica smirks, opening her mouth to say more, when there is a knock on the bedroom door.
"Can I come in?"
A muffled voice I recognize as Carlos asks. "Yeah," we all respond at the same time. He enters, looking dapper in a black tux. His salt and pepper hair is slicked back on the sides, and he's wearing a bow tie that matches the color of Monica's purple dress.
"Amor,"
he whispers, bending down to press a kiss to her lips. She smiles back at him, squeezing his hand. He lifts his head, and I watch his eyes go wide as he takes in the sight of my sister. Her dress is a perfect fit, cascading to the floor like liquid silk. Her honeysuckle-accented veil falls around her shoulders, draping her entire body in multicolored flowers. But it's the undiluted happiness on her face that's most breathtaking of all.
"Tan hermosa, preciosa,"
he gasps.
"Let me look at you."
He steps up to Darby, taking her hand as he spins her in a slow circle. She laughs as he lets out a low whistle. He turns to me next, smiling just as brightly.
"You look lovely, Dahlia. Absolutely beautiful."
"Thank you." I find myself grinning back at him.
"Would you ladies mind if I had a moment with the sisters alone?"
Monica stands from the couch, taking my daughter's hand. "Come on, you. Let's go get your dress on, yeah?" She winks at me, and I plant a soft kiss on Lou's forehead as she follows Monica out. "We'll go check on the boys and make sure they're ready to go," Penelope says as she and Macy filter out the door. Carlos shuts it behind them before taking a seat on the edge of Darby and Leo's bed. My sister and I sit next to each other on the couch across from him.
"I know you two have been through a lot, and for most of your life, you've felt abandoned and alone,"
he says softly. My sister grabs my hand tightly, and I wonder if the emotion is thickening in her throat the same way it is mine.
"Traditionally, a bride would have her father walk her down the aisle, share a dance with him during the reception. He'd give a speech showcasing his pride and love."
He clears his throat, letting out a rough laugh.
"I know you don't have that today, and I don't know what kind of emotions that's stirring up inside you. Neither Monica nor I are looking to replace anyone in your lives or fill any kind of space you don't want us in."
My sister begins furiously dabbing at her eyes. "It's okay," I whisper, removing her hands from her face. "We'll fix it."
"Sorry."
Carlos winces.
I guess I just want you both to know how cherished you are. We are so grateful you found our boys. That we get to have you and Lou.
He pauses, smiling at me.
In our lives.
He blinks rapidly, as if attempting to fight off tears.
We always wanted a big family. A ton of kids. After Monica had some complications with the twins, she wasn't able to get pregnant again. And we accepted that for what it was. When Leo came to us, we didn't hesitate to make him ours. We thought, maybe it didn't work out all those years ago for a bigger reason. Maybe we were meant to have more kids. They just hadn't found us yet.
His bottom lip trembles beneath his smile.
I believe that now more than ever. Now that we have you.
I didn't realize I'd been crying too, until I felt a tear spill over and run down my cheek. I've never been particularly interested in replacing my father figure before. Never had much faith in the male species. Part of me still thinks I'm too far gone to ever accept that kind of relationship in my life. But at the very least, I know I have a deep love and care for the two people who I may someday call my in-laws. For the first time, I have faith that they're not lying to me when they tell me they love me too. I trust them with my child, and I think every kid deserves a good pair of grandparents. I never had that. Never got to experience the kind of relationship with my grandmother that Darby had. And I never felt particularly close to my mother's parents. They're cold and distant like she is. But like everything else, Lou deserves better. I'm happy she has them. Happy we all do. Carlos stands from the bed at the same time Darby and I get up. He opens his arms to us and we step into them.
I'd be honored if you saved me a dance tonight,
he whispers. Of course, she whispers back, silent tears still streaming down her face. She pulls away, quietly thanking him as she squeezes his hand before heading into the bathroom to fix her makeup. Carlos turns back to me as he reaches for the door, flashing a knowing smile.
I hope you'll save a dance for me too, when the time comes.
Oh, I laugh. I'm not sure I'm cut out for all of this.
Save me a dance anyway, even if it's at the courthouse.
Tears sting my eyes, my throat thick as I swallow down my emotions. Deal.
Wicked. Darby's almost ready, Dahlia says from the top of the stairs. She's in her room. I was just checking on Lou. She descends in a light green silk dress that clings to every curve of her beautiful body. It's simple, but she's not. She's exquisite. There are flowers pinned in her hair, little white ones, orange and pink too. Wildflowers, I think. She smooths a hand down the fabric of her dress, deep blue eyes locking on mine. It's like the entire world stops spinning on its axis. It pauses at that look in her eyes, and I wonder if that pause is the Earth changing orbit, no longer moving around the sun, but around her instead. My world? It's her. How do I look? She asks quietly as she reaches me. Beyond comparison to anything in this plane of existence, I find myself whispering, more to me than to her. Because I rack my brain for words, but they simply don't exist, not for the way she looks. Not for the way my chest cracks open at her smile, begging her to fill the gaps left behind. Cigarettes after sex filter softly through the house, intensifying the moment that much more. Because she's a love song. She's not words, she's music, she's harmony. Fucking peace. You look the way this song sounds. Her breath hitches at that, eyes widening and mouth dropping open. I can tell she doesn't know how to respond, so I only hold my hand out. Dance with me? She lifts her arm, hovering over her chest. A playful smile accents her lips. Right here at the bottom of the staircase? Right here. Right now because I need to, because I need you. Please. She laughs softly, twining her fingers with mine and letting me pull her in. I spin her, getting a glimpse of her phenomenal ass before I tug her against my chest and wrap my free arm around her waist. She rests her head on my shoulder, letting out a contented sigh as we sway in the entry of my brother's house. He's spending some time with my dad before the ceremony, and I know Darby's in her room with Macy getting her hair and makeup touched up before we head outside. We only have a few minutes, but I couldn't help but steal a moment alone with Dahlia.
Mom?
Lou's voice calls down from above us.
What are you guys doing?
Dancing, I chuckle. Her little feet bound down the stairs, and I turn us so we're facing her.
Next to the front door?
She gives me a bemused look, her "you're a weirdo" face that I've come to know all too well. Wherever we want. Next to the front door or in the grocery store. If I feel like dancing with my girls, I'm going to do exactly that, so you better get used to it. She scrunches her nose at me like she's unimpressed. Dahlia laughs into my neck, the sound more beautiful than any melody floating around us. I let go of Dahlia's hand, extending it to Lou, keeping my other arm tight around Dahlia's waist. I continue swaying side to side with her next to me. Come on, Luce. Take a spin for me and let me see your dress. She rolls her eyes, but a small giggle escapes her lips as she takes my hand. I hold our arms above her head and twirl her around. Mi lucecita, I laugh. You look so beautiful. When she's done spinning, she looks up at me with a face-splitting grin that sets my soul on fire. She wedges her way between me and Dahlia, and I rock my girls back and forth in the entryway. I catch sight of my mother at the top of the stairs, who appears to have witnessed the entirety of the interaction. She's misty-eyed, smiling down at us. I toss her a wink, because while Dahlia and her daughter may not understand the true meaning behind my words, my mother does. She understands what it means when I say I want to dance with them anywhere. I've finally found everything I've been searching for.
45. Wildflower. You deserve everything, Dahlia. Looks like a rock-solid case. Tax fraud, felony embezzlement, and a fuck-ton of forgery, Ryan says, stepping out of his car and meeting Everett and me in the driveway. The low bass of music pounds beneath our feet, evidence of the raging party going on out back. Darby and Leo's reception is completely wild. Everett and I took a trip to my storage unit earlier this morning, where I put together a box of Lou's old toys and dropped them at a donation center on our way home. But as far as the police are concerned, I was grabbing table linens for the wedding and stumbled across an old thumb drive I didn't recognize. After opening it up at home, I saw several concerning documents belonging to my father's business, and I thought it best to report them to Ryan and get his opinion. Upon seeing the evidence, it was his duty to turn the files into the police. They're on their way to the local authorities in Crestwell, where the business is licensed. It'll take a few days to process, but I'm guessing official charges will be brought against him for at least tax fraud and felony embezzlement. I let out a deep breath. When do you expect the warrant will be issued? Ryan shrugs. I expect it to happen very quickly. Everett's arms tighten around my waist as I fall into him, letting out all the tension I'd been holding in. We head around the side of the house and enter the backyard. The reception rages on with lights, music, and dancing. The ceremony was beautiful, taking place right at sunset on a crystal-clear day. The backyard was immaculately decorated, in white, green, and yellow florals. Darby and Leo sang their vows against the backdrop of the ocean. My sister opted to walk herself down the aisle, but she only made it halfway before Leo ran out to meet her at the center of it, pulling her into his arms and kissing her before they even had the chance to say "I do." The reception is just as lovely. Everett and I both gave speeches. I opted for heartfelt, whereas he opted for funny, ending with a video of Leo doing a humiliating sandwich chain commercial several years ago, which is apparently the best way to embarrass him. Leo then spent the next several hours getting pleasantly drunk, my sister right along with him. Now, they move around the dance floor to Teenage Dream by Katy Perry, an alarmingly fitting anthem for the two of them. Lou spins in circles with Carlos while Monica chats with August on the edge of the dance floor, smiling at her husband and my daughter. Elena didn't stay long after dinner, claiming she was tired, though she did give Darby and Leo a surprisingly thoughtful wedding gift before she left. I realize Everett and Ryan are chatting quietly next to me when Ryan pats him on the back and steps off the porch, heading toward the cake table. Oh, and Dahlia. He turns around. Is there any chance your mother could be involved in all of this? I doubt it. He didn't think highly enough of women to let them be involved. Though that's probably to my mother's benefit now. Ryan nods.
They'll probably look into her anyway, just so you know.
Okay, thanks. I force a smile as he walks away.
He's probably right.
Everett wraps his arm around me, tugging me against his chest.
You could have Darby call her, though, if you don't feel up to it.
A sense of dread washes through me at the thought of talking to my mother. It's not the same kind of fear that comes with my dad, but the pain associated with her is still its own hurt. She was the first one to make me feel like I wasn't enough. Not pretty or thin enough. Not smart or accomplished enough. Not kind or poised or popular enough. She's the one who cared all too much what others thought. And other people always thought I stuck out like her sore thumb. Her black sheep. Her lost cause. No, she doesn't need that kind of pressure on her honeymoon. I step out of his arms, rising onto my toes to press a kiss to his cheek. You go have fun. I'll be back in a minute.
You're going to call her right now?
He asks. Might as well, I shrug. I've still got some champagne in my system. Liquid courage and shit. Everett lets out a laugh, shaking his head.
I can come with you.
It's okay, you go, I urge. I'll be right out, I promise.
I love you, Dahlia.
He takes my hand, brushing his lips across my knuckles.
No matter what your mother says to you in there, when you come back out, I'll be waiting, and I'll still love you. I still think you're the best thing that has ever happened to me.
My mind and heart and soul scream at me to say the words back to him, knowing I've never meant anything more, but they get lodged inside my throat, and all I'm capable of is offering him a smile, turning to head inside the house. The music lowers to a dull roar as I shut the door behind me before running up to my bedroom and grabbing my phone off its charger. Scrolling through my contacts, I select my mother's name and press call. It's late here, even later in Kansas, which might be the reason why I pulled the trigger so soon. Secretly hoping she won't answer, but being able to say I tried to warn her. She does pick up, though, on the third ring. Her groggy voice echoes in my ear. Dahlia? Hey, I say lamely, unsure how to address her. Oh my goodness, she gasps. I hear rustling on the other side of the line. You're actually calling me. Is everything okay? Not really, I mutter. Is Dad near you at all? No, well, no, he's not here. Are you lying to me? I find myself asking. No, Dahlia. I promise I'm not lying to you. For some reason, I believe her. I think I mostly believe her. Because if my father had been in bed beside her when I called, he'd have already taken her phone to speak with me himself. Look, Darby and I thought it'd be best if we... Today was the wedding, she interrupts. Yeah, I swallow. She's still enjoying herself, which is why I'm the one calling. How was the ceremony? My mom asks. Beautiful. I sigh, deciding to throw her a bone. It was lovely. She looks stunning. I don't doubt it. It's almost as if I can hear her smile. I'm sure you look stunning too. I want to snort at that, but I choke it back. Is she happy? My mother continues. She's very happy. And you? Are you happy? Chocolate brown eyes and steady tattooed hands flash across my vision, bringing a smile to my face. One I know she can hear in my voice when I say, I'm happy. Good, she breathes, sounding almost relieved. Good. And Lucille? Lou is doing well, I murmur. Thank goodness. She's quiet for a moment before she continues. I want you to know that I heard what your father tried to do. I overheard him speaking to Jason about it yesterday morning. I would have called you if I had known beforehand. I would have tried to do something to stop him before he went that far." That's a first. I'm stunned by my mother's admission and the sound of her voice breaking. "I left him, Dahlia." "What?" I crawl back onto my bed, covering my feet with blankets, as if it'll somehow protect me from what I've just heard. "I'm in Indianapolis with my sister. I arrived yesterday evening." She sniffles. "I didn't tell him where I was going, but I have no doubt he'll figure it out soon enough. He's a little caught up in a rage over your sister's wedding right now, so I imagine it'll take some time for him to recover from that. I'm hoping his fury toward me will take a back seat for a while." "You left him?" "Yeah." A soft sob rips from her throat. "He crossed the line. He's been crossing the line for years. I'm so sorry my line wasn't you, Dahlia. I'm sorry for that, and I know that nothing I ever do will make it up." Tears stream down my face, and I do nothing to wipe them away, wishing she could see the way she's breaking me once again. "My line should have been you, the same way yours has always been your daughter. It was my responsibility to teach you, but instead, you're the person I had to learn from. And I'm so sorry." I don't know how to respond. I don't forgive her, and I'm not sure I can accept her apology either. I don't know if I have it in me, though it still feels like some inner child deep inside me is being embraced by her mother for the first time in her life. Dad has been doing a lot of shady, illegal shit, and I found out about it. I had proof, and I turned it over to the authorities earlier tonight. A warrant should be issued for his arrest in the next few days. I find myself blurting out. I hope they get him before he gets to you. Darby and I wanted to make sure you were aware of this was coming." "Thank you," she says quietly. "You're welcome," I respond, unsure of what else could be said. I've got to get going, get Lou to bed. Good, Dahlia," she interrupts. If you ever need anything, if you ever want anything from me, I'm here." She sighs. "And thank you for breaking the cycle, for saving them both." I know she's referring to my sister and my daughter. "I wish someone could have saved you," I whisper. "I wish I could have saved you." "I didn't want to be saved." She chuckles. "No, I suppose you didn't. But it sounds like you were nonetheless." She's quiet before adding, "I hope he's good to you." Better than I deserve. My nose stings, and a knot of emotion forms at the center of my chest. "You deserve everything, Dahlia." Tears spill over again. Not sad or broken or angry tears, but ones of gratitude. Suddenly desperate to be back in his arms, I choke out, "Bye, Mom." "Bye, Dahlia, darling." I hang up, dropping my phone onto the sheets next to me. My head falls against my knees as I let out a lifetime of pent-up insecurity and loneliness. I'm not healed, and I haven't forgiven her. I'm not ready to rebuild any kind of relationship with her, and I'm not sure I ever will be. But I think I finally received the one thing I needed more than the rest. It wasn't my father's approval I was after all this time. It was hers. I needed her to admit I was never the problem. I was never broken. She was the one who failed me. They both did. Her acknowledging that truth was the closure I thought I'd never have. I give myself a few more minutes to cry it out before gathering my composure and heading back downstairs. The reception rages on as I make my way across the yard and find Monica and Carlos at one of the tables. They're watching Everett and Lou with amused smiles as he spins her around the dance floor on his toes. Darby and Leo have a car picking them up at 11:30 to take them to a hotel downtown, and they'll head to the airport tomorrow morning, Monica says as I fall into the seat next to her. They're honeymooning on some private island owned by a rich heiress friend of Leo's near the Maldives. We're going to take Lou home with us for a sleepover so you two can have the house to yourselves. You don't have to do that, I say, leaning against her shoulder. Oh, but I already got Lou excited about it. She smiles down at me. Thank you, I whisper. She responds by grabbing my hand where it rests on the table, and we go back to watching Everett and Lou dance together, my sister and her new husband laughing beside them. It's then I realize everything I've ever needed is right here in front of me.
46. Wicked. Light and all the colors. Hey, that's my wife! Leo yells at me, the most elated grin I've ever seen on another human being plastered across his face as we follow Darby and Dahlia out to the front of the house. Guests started heading home about an hour ago, and thank God for it, because this isn't the kind of send-off that calls for tossing rice. Darby's stumbling down the porch steps, being held up only by her sister and laughing hysterically. Leo keeps pointing at her before screaming in everyone's face to remind them that she's his wife and telling her she looks really cute for a baby giraffe, whatever the fuck that means. I don't think either of them had a morsel of food all day between pre-wedding jitters and a jam-packed reception, but they sure drank their fill of champagne. Oh my God, a limo! Darby squeals, taking off toward what is not a limo, but a town car Macy booked to drive them from the reception to the hotel. Stumbling forward, Dahlia chases after her, holding her sister's elbow as she attempts to help Darby into the vehicle. As soon as the driver pulls the door open, Darby falls face first onto the seat, crawling into the back. Dahlia groans, wiping a hand down her face before turning to look at me with a vexed expression. I help Leo down the rest of the entry, and he crawls into the back too. I don't think they're going to be consummating this thing tonight, I laugh quietly, kissing Dahlia on the cheek. We already did, Darby pipes up from inside the car. After the ceremony in the bathroom. Thanks for letting us know, Dahlia murmurs. After he's settled, Leo pokes his head out and glares up at me. Don't challenge me, brother. I'll consummate this thing right here now. He hiccups, causing a bout of giggles from his wife beside him. Please don't, I mutter, slamming the door in his face. Dahlia lets out an exasperated sigh as I turn to the driver. Hampton Hotel downtown. Call the front desk when you arrive and let them know the reservation is for Leo Graham. They'll send someone out to make sure the two of them make it to their room, I say, slipping a $50 bill into his hand as I shake it. He nods, rounding the driver's side and taking off. Dahlia and I walk back to the house hand in hand, meeting my parents at the front steps. My dad buckles Lou into the back seat of my parents' car where she immediately fell asleep about 10 minutes ago. Dahlia leans down, pressing a soft kiss to her head. You don't have to take her. We can put her to bed upstairs. Monica shakes her head. You two take the night to yourselves. I've got plans for us tomorrow anyway. She smiles down at Dahlia's daughter. You guys can sleep in. You deserve it after all of... She waves toward the car disappearing in the distance. That. Dahlia snorts. I press a kiss to the top of Lou's head, giving my dad a side hug before roping my mom into my arms. We say our goodbyes as they head out to their car. Guests are gone, and just a few event staff remain taking down the reception. Most of the shit will stay overnight, and a team will come back tomorrow to complete the rest of the cleanup. We enter the quiet, darkened house, locking the door behind us. Dahlia is silent as she leads us up the stairs into her bedroom. Her dress shuffles with every sway of her perfect hips, the view of her body in front of me like a goddamn beacon. It has been torture watching her move and dance and laugh in that fucking dress all day and not being able to touch her the way I truly want to. It has been a rough week. Between the revelations of her father and my sister returning home, plus the last-minute wedding prep, we've had little time to spend together. I've seen her at work and around the house, but not being able to hold her and love her the way I need to, the way I do in the dark of night when it's just the two of us, has been excruciating. As we reach her room, I shut the door behind us, and she spins to face me. Her blue eyes are on fire. She licks her full lips in a way that feels like an invitation, and on instinct, I find myself reaching out to grab her. Wrapping an arm around her waist, I pull her against me but move behind her so she's at my front and we're both facing the mirror on the back of her door. I brush her hair away from her shoulder, bringing my mouth to her collarbone. "You look exquisite in this dress," I murmur, brushing the straps off her shoulders, feeling goosebumps rise across her flesh. "Breathtaking." Her head falls back against my chest, eyes fluttering shut. "Thank you. I'm going to take it off you now." "Oh," she whimpers, eyes falling open to meet mine in the mirror, hooded and laced with lust. Her chest heaves, and I wonder if her heart is thrashing against her ribs the same way mine is. Dahlia nods, and I bring my hand to the center of her back, taking hold of the zipper on her dress. My knuckles drag along her bare skin as I slowly pull it down, opening her body to me. The dress falls off her shoulders, and she lets it fall to the floor, pooling at her feet. She's standing in front of me now in nothing but a strapless white bra and a pair of matching panties, the same set she was wearing on her birthday, and I twist the clasp on her bra, letting that fall to the floor too. Torturously slow, I run my hands down her sides, brushing my thumbs across each one of her nipples, eliciting a moan from her. Dipping my fingers into the waistband of her underwear, I tug them down to her mid-thighs, and she shimmies them the rest of the way off until they join her dress on the floor. "Exquisite," I whisper, pressing my lips to her neck. "Breathtaking." "Everett," she moans, lifting her arm to wrap her hand around my nape. I run my hands up and down the length of her beautiful body, and she watches me do so in the mirror with utmost confidence. Confidence she didn't have before. I know every day will look different, and some will be better than others, but I take pride in knowing that, at least right now, I might have helped her see the beauty in herself that has always been there, beauty she was blind to before I showed it to her. She spins, smiling wickedly at me as she presses against my chest and sends me falling back onto the edge of her bed. "Your turn," she rasps, pulling at the buckle of my belt and making quick work of getting my slacks off my legs. Once they're gone, she sends me moving backward on her bed until I'm sitting up against the headboard, and she straddles my hips. Her delicate fingers work away at the buttons of my dress shirt, popping them open one by one. I know the moment she sees it as she tugs my shirt off my arms. She gasps, movements halting and hands flying to cover her mouth. Her eyes slowly drag from my chest to my face, growing wide as she takes in the tattoo August finished earlier this week. "Everett," she whispers, one hand slowly lowering to my chest, softly brushing across the ink there. "When did you—" "The night I got back from New York. Leo and I went to see August while you and Darby were asleep. I'd been thinking about it for a long while before that, though." She shakes her head, tracing the dahlias that spread wide over my pec and up to my shoulder. "You're my compass, Wildflower." I repeat the words I said to her weeks ago. "You're where I find home." Her bottom lip trembles, gaze meeting mine and glistening with emotion as she spreads her palms across the entire tattoo right over my heart. It's a compass, needle pointing southwest, because that's the direction she was going when she came to find me. Nestled behind it are orange dahlias, a cluster of other wildflowers accented within them. She tilts her head as she studies it further, a finger outlining the golden thread that wraps around the compass, weaving between the petals of the flowers. "What is this?" she asks. "Our invisible string, our thread of gold, our light. Nuestra luz." I watch her brows pinch together, watch the realization dawn on her. Dahlia's mouth drops open as she inhales sharply, and suddenly tears are pouring from her bright eyes. I lean up, taking her face between my hands and kissing them away. Moving across her nose and cheeks, I make my way to her mouth and feather my lips against hers, moving softly. "She's my light," I whisper, "and you're all my colors, Wildflower." "Everett," She wraps her arms around my neck, kissing me harder. You know that's permanent, right? I feel her smile softly against my mouth. I love you permanently. She pulls away, looking down at me with astonished eyes, brushing her hand along my jaw as if she's checking to ensure I'm truly here. She doesn't respond, though. Instead, she surges forward, kissing me fervently. I moan into her mouth, and she slips her tongue into mine. We're a clash of lips and breath and need. I knot my hands into her hair, and she runs her nails down my back. Our bodies flush together, but it's not enough. A primal urge to be closer, to be entwined, overcomes me, and I'm hardening beneath her legs, feeling her soft skin brush against my most sensitive area. I let out a groan, and she returns it with a twin sound. You're mine. Fuck, I rasp. Yes, yours. She pulls away, lifting her hips and reaching between us. I hiss as her soft hand comes in contact with my cock, pumping me from base to tip. She licks her lips, pulling her bottom one between her teeth. Breathing hard, she whispers again, You're mine? You own me, baby, I grit out as she fists me once more. She swipes my head through her slit, so unbelievably wet. Mind? I grip my base as she removes her hand, keeping my cock in place. Body? I groan as she seats herself fully. Her breath hitches as she adjusts to the fullness of having me inside her. She places her palms at the center of my chest, right over the tattoo at my heart. I grip her hips with both my hands and slowly lift her before dropping her back down. We let out a simultaneous moan at the joining of our bodies. Soul, I rasp, rocking her against me again. I love you, Dahlia.
Wildflower.
I love you, Dahlia.
His voice is rough and raw, eyes wild as he watches me ride him. Sensation soars through my body, sparks lighting along my skin as I move atop him, feeling him so deeply inside me that he may just be woven into the fabric of my being. His name written across my soul. I drop my face, pressing our foreheads together. Sharing breath, I watch his eyes flare with every meeting of our flesh. He tightens his hold on my hips, snaking a hand around my backside to grasp my ass and move me faster.
Fuck me like you own me, Dahlia.
He whimpers into my mouth.
Because you do.
I move quicker, and he lifts his hips to meet my thrusts, the sound of our joining echoing through the silent space, only accented by our rapid breathing and whispered words. Pleasure coils in my center, growing taut and tight, heat building and begging to break.
I love you,
he repeats, lips moving against mine.
I love you so loud. I love you permanently.
His mouth moves along my jaw.
I love you all the time.
He peppers kisses along my neck, and I feel the sensation, our connection, from the place his mouth rests to the very tips of my toes and back up again. Stars dance behind my vision as I near that peak.
You're tattooed across my chest, etched into my bones,
he whispers.
You've unraveled me, and...
His words have me spiraling toward release, my hips moving on their own accord, forcing us faster and harder and more powerful.
And... fuck, I love you. I love you.
Those words, his voice and his hands and his touch, have my climax ripping through me. My head falls back, baring my neck to him as he latches onto it. I cry out his name, feeling my body tighten and break atop him. My release floods from me, fireworks exploding in my mind and blurring my vision, my body clinging to him as I ride it out, feeling every piece of my soul fracture and piece itself back together. I love you, Everett. The words fly from my mouth on a moan. Words I've rarely said before and never felt the way they do at this moment. They've been something I've always deemed impossible to say, but now they come out effortlessly. I wonder if love is only ever felt unreachable because I was saving it all for him.
Dahlia,
He pants, eyes flying open. I feel him pulsate inside me, chest heaving as he looks at me with an infinity of emotion behind his amber eyes.
say it again.
I love you, I whisper, rolling my hips and kissing his jaw.
Fuck.
He thrusts up into me, cock twitching and sending a tremor through my core.
Baby, I'm going to...
Come inside me, I beg, grinding down onto him and removing any semblance of space between our bodies. Please, Everett, I need to feel you. He grips my hips hard enough to bruise, eyes on mine. I watch his throat move as a moan tears through it, his cock swelling and pulsing once more before a soft groan leaves his lips. Warmth floods my body, filling me up with the final throb of his release. Our chests press together, heartbeats pounding like twin drums. He holds my face, smiling up at me with deep, raw, all-consuming love in his gaze, and I can only hope I'm looking at him the same. He wraps a hand around my neck, pulling me into him and kissing me hard. Grasping my waist with his other arm, he holds me tightly as he flips us over so I lay on my back. We both groan as he slowly pulls out, sitting on his knees in front of me with his gaze glued between my legs. He licks his lips, brushing his hand across my leg to the apex of my thighs. I shiver at his touch as he dips a finger inside me, stuffing me back full of the release that began to leak out.
That's beautiful,
He whispers, shaking his head.
Fuck. I love the look of that.
Butterflies erupt in my stomach, and I'm pounding with arousal once more. Do you want kids? I find myself blurting. His eyes snap to mine, and with the utmost seriousness he asks,
Do you mean more kids?
Yeah, I respond breathlessly, my heart flying out of my chest. More kids. He nods, eyes dark and hazed with passion and fervor.
With you, yes.
Swiping a finger through my center again and smearing his release between my legs, he asks,
Do you?
Yes, I say immediately. I always have. I always wanted her to have siblings. I know at this point, she's so much older, it won't be like what I had with mine, but I'd like to give her someone. Everett smiles, lying down beside me and wrapping me into his arms. My head falls into his chest, right over the tattoo he got for me. For us. Emotion pricks at my eyes again as I nuzzle against him, savoring his warmth.
Then we'll give her someone. Multiple someones.
His thumb moves in soothing circles along the bare skin of my shoulder, and he plants a kiss into my hair.
But you two will need to move in first, of course.
What? I gasp, lifting onto my elbow to look at him.
Move in with me, Wildflower.
He flashes me his wicked grin.
You keep talking about how you need to find a place, and I've got one. She'll have her own room, a backyard to play in.
His eyes are pleading and hopeful, and he lifts his chin to brush his mouth along my jaw.
We know we're in game. We know we're a family. Don't make me go another goddamn night without having you in my bed. Please.
How do you think Lou will feel about it?
I have a feeling she'll be elated. I have a feeling she'll ask us why it took so long.
He laughs.
We can talk to her tomorrow, and if she shows the slightest ounce of hesitation, we can pump the brakes for a while. But I'm not too worried about it.
I look at him, seeing my whole world staring back at me. The easiest answer I've ever given falls from my lips when I say, Yes, let's do it. Everett smiles, taking my face between his hands and pressing a kiss to my nose.
You love me?
He asks. I love you permanently, I whisper into the night.
Permanently.
He whispers back, kissing me again. 47. Wildflower.
Wake up, Wildflower.
Warm, delicate, soft kisses trail down my neck, stirring me from sleep. I hum, turning into the source of that strong body and light voice. There's a musical laugh before those lips find my head.
Come on, baby.
Why? I groan into his chest, not yet ready to leave the bed. I don't know what time it is, but I know we were up into the early hours of this morning, getting entirely lost in each other. I know we'll have to go pick up Lou soon and talk to her about moving in with Everett. And he's going to have a conversation with Elena about it too, since she's staying with him indefinitely. Not to mention the aftermath of everything that went down with my father, and the fact that I haven't even begun to really process the conversation I had with my mom. We got a text from Ryan late last night after the reception, confirming that an expedited warrant had been issued due to the severity of his charges and the evidence against him. Thanks to me. My father has likely already been taken in. Highest priority on my list is to find both Darby and me a really good fucking therapist, because we have got some heavy shit to work through. But first, I just want to lie in bed with Everett for a few more minutes.
Surf lessons, Dal.
I told Lou not until school is out for the summer. I feel his chest rumble beneath his laugh.
Not for Lou. For you.
I crack an eye open, glaring up at him. Excuse me?
You once said you wished you could learn to surf.
He's smiling down at me, obnoxiously chipper for this early in the day.
So I'm going to teach you.
I didn't mean it like that. I yawn, sitting up. I meant it like if I was interested in surfing, I'd love to have the option to learn, but I'm too busy. So if I was interested, which I'm not, I wouldn't even have the ability to take lessons even though I don't want to. He pops a brow.
Let's go. Everyone has to surf at least once in their life.
Who made that rule? I ask, watching him step out of bed, naked as the day he was born, and stretch. I'm fairly certain I have a Pavlovian response to this man's cock. He puts it in front of me, and I'm instantly salivating. He smiles, watching my reaction to his body on display.
I think it's written into the Constitution of California, so if you plan on staying here, you better get your ass up.
A half hour later, we're standing in the sand at the base of the cove beneath the cliff. The sun is still rising behind us, painting the Pacific in soft blue as golden light glistening off the whitecaps. The sky above it expands endlessly in shades of lavender and fuchsia. I can't believe I get to live here, I find myself saying, the morning breeze brushing against my cheeks like a kiss, the rustling of palm leaves like music.
I can't believe I get to keep you,
Everett responds, eyes on me rather than the horizon.
If we stay to the left side of the cove, the cliffs create a barrier so the water is calmer. I'll take you out with me.
He holds one of Leo's surfboards in one arm, my hand in the other, leading me out to the waves. Once we're knee-deep in the water, he beckons me to climb onto the board and straddle it with a leg dangling off either side. I watch it weave around my limbs as he pulls the board into deeper water, the shade of the ocean deepening the farther we go. It's a calm, quiet morning, the board rocking comfortably beneath me in the current. Once we're past the break, and Everett is about chest deep, he stops.
Lean to the opposite side of me as I climb on, okay?
I nod, and the board rocks, water rippling as he presses me onto it and throws one of his legs over the side. With the land at my back, Everett and I face each other, the sun shining across his beautiful face and setting his eyes on fire. So, this is surfing? I ask.
No, this is floating.
He smirks as he shrugs.
But it's a good enough start.
I kick my feet back and forth beneath the water. the chill of it biting against my legs but not completely unbearable. This is everything I could have asked for anyway. I smile, feeling nothing but peace and contentment in this moment. We sit in comfortable silence for some time, listening to the sound of the waves around us, feeling the warmth of the rising sun and the whistling of the wind, when Everett asks,
"Have you given any thought to a name for the coffee shop? We want to get started before summer."
"Yeah." I feel my lips quirk up at the corners. "I've thought of a name." He raises his brows.
"Well?"
"I was thinking of Wildflower," I say. Everett smiles, opening his mouth to respond, but I cut him off before he can. But I decided it needed something more, something representative of the person who inspired me to take the leap. He cocks his head. I dip my head, feeling suddenly bashful. "The Wicked Wildflower. I thought that could be a good name." That smile becomes a wide grin as he reaches around to grasp my neck and pull me into him.
"I'm wicked?"
I nod, feeling his lips against my nose.
"You're Wildflower."
"So you say." I lift my chin so my mouth brushes against his. His grin spreads against my lips.
"The Wicked Wildflower. That's fucking perfect."
As he kisses me against the backdrop of the Pacific and beneath the early morning sunshine, I finally find a way to describe the feeling of being with him, in his arms, the sensation I've never been able to put a name to because I've never experienced it before. Something inside my soul begins to bloom, like it finally found its destination, the spot to plant its roots. Home.
1 year later, Wicked. "Wildflower," I call out, stepping into the kitchen. "Back here," she chimes. I move through the double doors to the back of the cafe where I find her rolling dough. Hands are covered in flour, orange apron wrapped around her frame, hair pulled back into a bun. She lifts her head, smiling at me as she continues to work. "Hi, babe." I kiss her quickly before stepping away, not wanting to compromise the food she's making. I move to the corner of the room, pulling out a bar stool. "Luce isn't here yet?" Dahlia shakes her head. "No, bus should be dropping her any minute, though." When Lou started her last year of elementary school, we decided to allow her to take the bus home, since there's a stop just across the street from the boardwalk. I spend my mornings at the garage, managing Ramos Automotive, and moved back into my old office above Heathens, where I work in the afternoons. That way, I can end my day with Dahlia at the bakery, and the three of us can go home together. "You've got everything ready to go for next week?" I ask as we wait for our daughter. "Yeah," she nods. "Elena's going to act as manager while we're gone, and Peggy will be here for the bakery." Elena, by all appearances, is doing better since she began working at the Wicked Wildflower, and she moved out of my house. I know she's not writing still, though. I think her inability to create stories continues to eat her alive, and I can only hope that one day she'll find it again. Peggy is a pastry chef Dahlia hired to assist with bakery operations, and together, the two of them have masterminded several unique recipes that have people traveling from all around the region to get their hands on. I'm the lucky bastard who gets my hands on Dahlia's goods as often as I want. Dahlia has worked tirelessly the past year to get the Wicked Wildflower up and running, and it has become a smashing success. Not without its early mornings, late nights, and a fuck ton of stress, though. That, paired with her father's sentencing earlier this year, which was hard on both Dahlia and Darby, especially in the final stage of Darby's pregnancy, meant Dahlia needed a break. As a surprise, I spent the last several months secretly rebuilding an old-school bus I bought off a friend, Tyler. I presented her with it last month and told her about my plan to take the summer off so she, Lou, and I could drive up and down the West Coast exploring like she always imagined. It was tough to convince her to let the bakery go for 2 months, since this place has become like another child to her, but this summer may be our last chance to make it happen for a while. Once she was finally swayed, we decided to take off when Lou finishes her school year next week, with plans to return early August, since that's Pacific Shore's busiest month of the year. I have no doubt that our businesses will be in the safest of hands with our family. Once we return, our primary goal will be filling the final empty unit on the boardwalk, the one between the Wicked Wildflower and August's tattoo parlor on the other end, with the hopes to have the boardwalk completely full by next summer. "Mom?" Lou's sweet, soft voice floats through the kitchen as she swings open the doors. "Hi, Bug," she smiles. "How was school?" "Good," she says, tossing her backpack onto the counter and sliding onto the stool beside me. "Hey, Everett." "Hi, Luce." I plant a kiss on the top of her hair. "Let me finish prepping for the morning crew, and then we can head home." "Take your time, Wildflower." I wave her off, turning to our kid. "What did you do today?" I notice Lou looks a little bashful as she pulls her bag toward her. "I actually made you something," she says quietly. "Made me something?" I ask dramatically. "How special am I?" She smiles softly, digging through her bag. "We had a free craft day in art class since it's Friday, and I made bracelets. I know we already have a ton from the Taylor Swift concert, but I wanted to make one for you, too." "Did you make one for me?" Dahlia asks. "No." "Rude," she scoffs dramatically. Lou rolls her eyes at her mom before glancing up at me shyly. "You know how I gave you like 100 cool nicknames and you said no to all of them?" "Haven't found the right one yet," I shrug. "Well," she bites her lip, grabbing my wrist and laying it on the table in front of us. "My teacher was talking today about how Father's Day is coming up, and everyone was making little gifts for their dads." She pulls something out of her bag, hesitantly slipping it onto my wrist. I thought maybe this nickname could work." She looks up at me with uncertainty written in her eyes. I glance down at the bracelet, a pattern of blue beads and little orange flowers, a mixture of mine and Dahlia's favorite colors. In the middle of my wrist are 3 small letters. D-A-D. I let out some kind of noise, though I'm not even sure what. My heart is so full I feel like it's ripping right out of my chest. Emotion immediately pricks at my eyes, and my nose stings as I try and fail to hold it back. I swallow the lump in my throat, but my voice is thick as I say, "That's a good one, kid. I like that one a lot." She smiles at me, so much hope in her gaze. "You do?" I fold her against my chest, cradling her head. "Yeah," I inhale sharply as I'm overcome with that emotion, tears leaking down my cheeks. "I think that's the best thing anyone has ever called me." I catch Dahlia across the kitchen looking at us with concern. Silently, because words are lost on me completely, I hold my wrist up so she can see the bracelet. She squints, face falling as she makes out the word scrawled in the center of it. A hand flies to her mouth, quiet tears cascading down her cheeks too. I extend my hand, beckoning her to me. She drops her rolling pin and rounds the counter, pressing her lips to her daughter's head and throwing her arms around us both. I spent most of my life going through the motions, having no idea which direction I was headed. All I wanted was a purpose, one that made me feel like there was something worth working toward, something to live for. I slide my hand down Dahlia's side, then spread my palm across her middle. With them in my arms, it's like I've found everything I've always needed and didn't realize I'd been searching for. It was right here, wrapped up in them. All my reasons to breathe, my entire world, my home. This concludes Wicked and Wildflower by Sarah Bailey, narrated by Julio Maxwell and Amy Hall. Copyright 2024 by Sarah A. Bailey. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Sarah A. Bailey, care of SBR Media, and was produced in the year 2025 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.
Do you?
Yes, I say immediately. I always have. I always wanted her to have siblings. I know at this point, she's so much older, it won't be like what I had with mine, but I'd like to give her someone. Everett smiles, lying down beside me and wrapping me into his arms. My head falls into his chest, right over the tattoo he got for me. For us. Emotion pricks at my eyes again as I nuzzle against him, savoring his warmth.
Then we'll give her someone. Multiple someones.
His thumb moves in soothing circles along the bare skin of my shoulder, and he plants a kiss into my hair.
But you two will need to move in first, of course.
What? I gasp, lifting onto my elbow to look at him.
Move in with me, Wildflower.
He flashes me his wicked grin.
You keep talking about how you need to find a place, and I've got one. She'll have her own room, a backyard to play in.
His eyes are pleading and hopeful, and he lifts his chin to brush his mouth along my jaw.
We know we're in game. We know we're a family. Don't make me go another goddamn night without having you in my bed. Please.
How do you think Lou will feel about it?
I have a feeling she'll be elated. I have a feeling she'll ask us why it took so long.
He laughs.
We can talk to her tomorrow, and if she shows the slightest ounce of hesitation, we can pump the brakes for a while. But I'm not too worried about it.
I look at him, seeing my whole world staring back at me. The easiest answer I've ever given falls from my lips when I say, "Yes, let's do it." Everett smiles, taking my face between his hands and pressing a kiss to my nose.
You love me?
He asks. I love you permanently. I whisper into the night.
Permanently.
He whispers back, kissing me again. 47. Wildflower.
Wake up, Wildflower.
Warm, delicate, soft kisses trail down my neck, stirring me from sleep. I hum, turning into the source of that strong body and light voice. There's a musical laugh before those lips find my head.
Come on, baby.
Why? I groan into his chest, not yet ready to leave the bed. I don't know what time it is, but I know we were up into the early hours of this morning, getting entirely lost in each other. I know we'll have to go pick up Lou soon and talk to her about moving in with Everett. And he's going to have a conversation with Elena about it too, since she's staying with him indefinitely. Not to mention the aftermath of everything that went down with my father, and the fact that I haven't even begun to really process the conversation I had with my mom. We got a text from Ryan late last night after the reception, confirming that an expedited warrant had been issued due to the severity of his charges and the evidence against him. Thanks to me. My father has likely already been taken in. Highest priority on my list is to find both Darby and me a really good fucking therapist, because we have got some heavy shit to work through. But first, I just want to lie in bed with Everett for a few more minutes.
Surf lessons, Dow.
I told Lou not until school is out for the summer. I feel his chest rumble beneath his laugh.
Not for Lou. For you.
I crack an eye open, glaring up at him. Excuse me?
You once said you wished you could learn to surf.
He's smiling down at me, obnoxiously chipper for this early in the day.
So I'm going to teach you.
I didn't mean it like that. I yawn, sitting up. I meant it like if I was interested in surfing, I'd love to have the option to learn, but I'm too busy. So if I was interested, which I'm not, I wouldn't even have the ability to take lessons even though I don't want to. He pops a brow.
Let's go. Everyone has to surf at least once in their life.
Who made that rule? I ask, watching him step out of bed, naked as the day he was born, and stretch. I'm fairly certain I have a Pavlovian response to this man's cock. He puts it in front of me, and I'm instantly salivating. He smiles, watching my reaction to his body on display.
I think it's written into the Constitution of California, so if you plan on staying here, you better get your ass up.
A half-hour later, we're standing in the sand at the base of the cove beneath the cliff. The sun is still rising behind us, painting the Pacific in soft blue as golden light glistening off the whitecaps. The sky above it expands endlessly in shades of lavender and fuchsia. I can't believe I get to live here, I find myself saying, the morning breeze brushing against my cheeks like a kiss, the rustling of palm leaves like music.
I can't believe I get to keep you,
Everett responds, eyes on me rather than the horizon.
If we stay to the left side of the cove, the cliffs create a barrier so the water is calmer. I'll take you out with me.
He holds one of Leo's surfboards in one arm, my hand in the other, leading me out to the waves. Once we're knee-deep in the water, he beckons me to climb onto the board and straddle it with a leg dangling off either side. I watch it weave around my limbs as he pulls the board into deeper water, the shade of the ocean deepening the farther we go. It's a calm, quiet morning, the board rocking comfortably beneath me in the current. Once we're past the break, and Everett is about chest deep, he stops.
Lean to the opposite side of me as I climb on, okay?
I nod, and the board rocks, water rippling as he presses me onto it and throws one of his legs over the side. With the land at my back, Everett and I face each other, the sun shining across his beautiful face and setting his eyes on fire. So, this is surfing? I ask.
No, this is floating.
He smirks as he shrugs.
But it's a good enough start.
I kick my feet back and forth beneath the water, the chill of it biting against my legs but not completely unbearable. This is everything I could have asked for anyway. I smile, feeling nothing but peace and contentment in this moment. We sit in comfortable silence for some time, listening to the sound of the waves around us, feeling the warmth of the rising sun and the whistling of the wind, when Everett asks,
Have you given any thought to a name for the coffee shop? We want to get started before summer.
Yeah. I feel my lips quirk up at the corners. I've thought of a name. He raises his brows.
Well?
I was thinking of Wildflower, I say. Everett smiles, opening his mouth to respond, but I cut him off before he can. But I decided it needed something more, something representative of the person who inspired me to take the leap. He cocks his head. I dip my head, feeling suddenly bashful. The Wicked Wildflower. I thought that could be a good name. That smile becomes a wide grin as he reaches around to grasp my neck and pull me into him.
I'm wicked?
I nod, feeling his lips against my nose.
You're Wildflower.
So you say. I lift my chin so my mouth brushes against his. His grin spreads against my lips.
The Wicked Wildflower. That's fucking perfect.
As he kisses me against the backdrop of the Pacific, and beneath the early morning sunshine, I finally find a way to describe the feeling of being with him, in his arms, the sensation I've never been able to put a name to, because I've never experienced it before. Something inside my soul begins to bloom, like it finally found its destination, the spot to plant its roots. Home.
1 year later, Wicked. Wildflower, I call out, stepping into the kitchen. Back here, she chimes. I move through the double doors to the back of the cafe where I find her rolling dough. Hands are covered in flour, orange apron wrapped around her frame, hair pulled back into a bun. She lifts her head, smiling at me as she continues to work. Hi, babe. I kiss her quickly before stepping away, not wanting to compromise the food she's making. I move to the corner of the room, pulling out a bar stool. Luce isn't here yet? Dahlia shakes her head. No, bus should be dropping her any minute, though. When Luce started her last year of elementary school, we decided to allow her to take the bus home, since there is a stop just across the street from the boardwalk. I spend my mornings at the garage, managing Ramos Automotive, and moved back into my old office above Heathens, where I work in the afternoons. That way, I can end my day with Dahlia at the bakery, and the three of us can go home together. You've got everything ready to go for next week? I ask as we wait for our daughter.
Yeah,
She nods.
Elena's going to act as manager while we're gone, and Peggy will be here for the bakery.
Elena, by all appearances, is doing better since she began working at the Wicked Wildflower, and she moved out of my house. I know she's not writing still, though. I think her inability to create stories continues to eat her alive, and I can only hope that one day she'll find it again. Peggy is a pastry chef Dahlia hired to assist with bakery operations, and together, the two of them have masterminded several unique recipes that have people traveling from all around the region to get their hands on. I'm the lucky bastard who gets my hands on Dahlia's goods as often as I want. Dahlia has worked tirelessly the past year to get the Wicked Wildflower up and running, and it has become a smashing success. Not without its early mornings, late nights, and a fuck ton of stress, though. That, paired with her father's sentencing earlier this year, which was hard on both Dahlia and Darby, especially in the final stage of Darby's pregnancy, meant Dahlia needed a break. As a surprise, I spent the last several months secretly rebuilding an old-school bus I bought off a friend, Tyler. I presented her with it last month and told her about my plan to take the summer off so she, Lou, and I could drive up and down the West Coast exploring like she always imagined. It was tough to convince her to let the bakery go for 2 months, since this place has become like another child to her, but this summer may be our last chance to make it happen for a while. Once she was finally swayed, we decided to take off when Lou finishes her school year next week, with plans to return early August, since that's Pacific Shore's busiest month of the year. I have no doubt that our businesses will be in the safest of hands with our family. Once we return, our primary goal will be filling the final empty unit on the boardwalk, the one between the Wicked Wildflower and August's tattoo parlor on the other end, with the hopes to have the boardwalk completely full by next summer.
Mom?
Lou's sweet, soft voice floats through the kitchen as she swings open the doors.
Hi, Bug.
She smiles. How was school?
Good,
She says, tossing her backpack onto the counter and sliding onto the stool beside me.
Hey, Everett.
Hi, Luce. I plant a kiss on the top of her hair.
Let me finish prepping for the morning crew, and then we can head home.
Take your time, Wildflower. I wave her off, turning to our kid. What did you do today? I notice Lou looks a little bashful as she pulls her bag toward her.
I actually made you something,
she says quietly. Made me something? I ask dramatically. How special am I? She smiles softly, digging through her bag.
We had a free craft day in art class since it's Friday, and I made bracelets. I know we already have a ton from the Taylor Swift concert, but I wanted to make one for you, too.
Did you make one for me? Dahlia asks.
No.
Rude, she scoffs dramatically. Lou rolls her eyes at her mom before glancing up at me shyly.
You know how I gave you like 100 cool nicknames and you said no to all of them?
Haven't found the right one yet, I shrug.
Well,
she bites her lip, grabbing my wrist and laying it on the table in front of us.
My teacher was talking today about how Father's Day is coming up, and everyone was making little gifts for their dads.
She pulls something out of her bag, hesitantly slipping it onto my wrist.
I thought maybe this nickname could work.
She looks up at me with uncertainty written in her eyes. I glance down at the bracelet, a pattern of blue beads and little orange flowers, a mixture of mine and Dahlia's favorite colors. In the middle of my wrist are 3 small letters. D-A-D. I let out some kind of noise, though I'm not even sure what. My heart is so full I feel like it's ripping right out of my chest. Emotion immediately pricks at my eyes, and my nose stings as I try and fail to hold it back. I swallow the lump in my throat, but my voice is thick as I say, "That's a good one, kid. I like that one a lot." She smiles at me, so much hope in her gaze.
You do?
I fold her against my chest, cradling her head. Yeah, I inhale sharply as I'm overcome with that emotion, tears leaking down my cheeks. I think that's the best thing anyone has ever called me. I catch Dahlia across the kitchen looking at us with concern. Silently, because words are lost on me completely, I hold my wrist up so she can see the bracelet. She squints, face falling as she makes out the word scrawled in the center of it. A hand flies to her mouth, quiet tears cascading down her cheeks too. I extend my hand, beckoning her to me. She drops her rolling pin and rounds the counter, pressing her lips to her daughter's head and throwing her arms around us both. I spent most of my life going through the motions, having no idea which direction I was headed. All I wanted was a purpose, one that made me feel like there was something worth working toward, something to live for. I slide my hand down Dahlia's side, then spread my palm across her middle. With them in my arms, it's like I've found everything I've always needed and didn't realize I'd been searching for. It was right here, wrapped up in them. All my reasons to breathe, my entire world, my home. This concludes Wicked and Wildflower by Sarah Bailey, narrated by Julio Maxwell and Amy Hall. Copyright 2024 by Sarah A. Bailey. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Sarah A. Bailey, care of SBR Media, and was produced in the year 2025 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.